from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Rain is mostly pushed out. It's still pretty cloudy. It's not going to really dry up very much, but it ain't going to rain after raining almost the entire day.
Rained all last night here.
We got sports tonight. There wasn't much of that last night.
No.
I mean, there might have, there was a WNBA playoff game.
Yeah.
That was about all I know that happened yesterday.
I didn't watch a lot, but I checked in on the hockey a bit.
Well, then there is hockey, too. I got to be reminded that hockey is starting because ESPN finally treating it like a real thing again. Mm-hmm. So... yeah, hockey is out and about. Still waiting on basketball.
Yeah. Preds start tonight. Let's go, Preds.
No college football. No NFL yesterday. So it's kind of the perfect day to go out for a concert. In the rain at the Amp. Dave Matthews Band was fun last night.
You went?
Fun. Yeah, I ended up going.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, got a good offer. A couple of people to go hang out with. Found a way to sneak into better seats than we paid for.
Oh, that's always good. That's always good.
I followed the leader because I'm not really a concert goer. I just don't have the chance to go to many of them.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the guys that I was with is an avid concert goer. And not a lot of us have gone to see live music in the last year and a half or so. But this is a guy that I would trust. So I just told him, look, we're either going to be out with these ponchos in the rain for 2 hours, or I'm just going to follow you. And you basically decide where we're going to go. And it all worked out. We got very lucky. 3 seats right next to each other that somebody paid money for and didn't show up for. So felt pretty good about that.
Their loss is your gain, right?
That's exactly right. So
you always got to take advantage of better seats when you can. But the key is you can't do it too early, because if you do it too early, you run the risk of getting caught. And if you get caught, well, they could tell you to go back to your original seats, or they could tell you to get out.
Yeah,
so
then it turns into
you got to pick the right time.
Example of just moving around from one place to another. Didn't happen last night. Felt so lucky. The show was great.
Decent crowd though, still with the rain.
A decent crowd, very wet, and the band sounded great. Dave Matthews sounded great. A lot of fun. So back to sports now.
Yeah,
back to sports on a Thursday. Where
plenty of it.
It's like take your pick. Take your pick what you want to get. You got an NFL game tonight. Not sure how great it's going to be. The Bucs at the Eagles.
Still get Tom Brady.
Versus Jalen Hurts. It's an interesting matchup there. Bucs favored by 7 on the road. Baseball playoffs. You get a winner-takes-all division series game with hated rivals going up against each other. Winner gets the Braves. Dodgers-Giants tonight. That's an 8:07 first pitch. Pretty much plan on being awake until after midnight for the end of that one. If that one goes, to the very last.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to the distance on that one.
Well, I'm going to stay up watching that one as long as I possibly can.
I'm just going to be able to. I'm just hoping that a football game that starts at 6:30 in East-West Memphis gets over by 9:30.
That's right. It's a chance for your East-West Tigers to bounce back.
Yeah, three in a row taking on the midshipmen of the Naval Academy tonight at the Liberty Bowl in East-West Memphis. So and good news is, with it being against a service academy, a team that runs a triple option, I think realistically the game could be over in 3 hours. Because that clock's going to
be over in 3 hours. There are no major league playoff
I just need it to be over. I just need to be over in time for my bedtime at 9:30. Because otherwise I'm going to be cranky, and you and Maddie's not going to like me very much tomorrow. And tomorrow's a long day for me. Fridays are long days.
Yeah, you got a Springdale game you're going to do?
Yeah, and I mean, one, got to drive up there and drive all the way back to the fort. So it's a long day. I need my sleep.
You're going to have to lean on that youthful exuberance that you bring to the show every single day.
I'm going to try.
It's not easy to lean on that every day, but I think you can probably do that. So yeah, lots happening tonight. Thank goodness. After a dearth of sports yesterday, you get a little bit almost too much tonight. Later on tonight, speaking of tonight, you're going to have a big commitment announcement from Jordan Walsh. He made that known yesterday. 6'7" small forward from DeSoto, Texas. The reports say he's looking at either Texas or Arkansas.
Yeah, but from what I've read in the prediction stuff, and even Danny West will tell you predictions aren't an exact science. You can't always get them all 100% right. But from the reports that you read and the expert guessings and the way that they're leaning towards Arkansas. But you never know until that commitment comes. And then, even then, you don't know until pen hits paper.
Well, and pen doesn't hit paper until early signing period next month. So
no, it doesn't. So even though you get the commitment tonight, doesn't mean that you can't flip them. I mean, look, we talked about the story from the 24/7 reporter in Ole Miss, and that guy was the quarterback, Brown from California, was at Ole Miss on a recruiting visit, and he's already committed to USC. So until pen hits paper, it's just an example of showing that it's nice to have the commitment, but you can't really take it to the bank yet.
And here I am going back and forth with JT. He's accusing me of stealing for going into better seats yesterday.
Oh, it's not stealing. If they didn't show up, they didn't show up.
It's called creativity, JT. You're going to tell me you've never moved up to better seats at a sporting event?
I've done it 1,000 times.
And if you say no, I don't believe you. 877-377-6963.
I can't tell you how many times I've snuck into the club level at FedEx Forum. Just because if you act like you belong there, most people will leave you alone.
Well, that's the fact. All you got to do is act like you belong there.
$5 ticket for a $65 seat.
Good luck moving up into better seats for Saturday's Razorback Auburn Tigers
Yeah,
game.
I don't think you'll be able to do it.
That's a sellout. It's going to be fantastic weather, so anybody that does buy tickets, I would assume, is showing up. No rain. It's going to feel like a great fall Saturday morning/afternoon. So everybody that buys a ticket is going to show up. A little bit different at an outdoor concert when it's pouring rain all day long.
Oh, yeah. It's going to drive some people away. It's just the fact of the matter is not everybody is going to show up to sporting events, concerts when there's crummy weather. And if their loss of not going when they bought the tickets, it shouldn't be on you to not take the seats. Like, that's one of those where the golden rule and, being honest doesn't apply. You move up. And plus, I'm pretty sure the band, just like, in sporting games, they want you as close there possible for a better atmosphere. They don't want people spread out as much as it probably would have been.
Well, you just make sure that you're there. That seems to be the message that comes from head coach Sam Pittman, from the players, to sell out for an 11 o'clock game. The last time I saw that? 2 weeks ago at Georgia, at 11 o'clock game, 93,000 people showed up. Many of them showed up early, ready to go by the time the gates opened. Of course, they had college game day to, maw at for a while. But they were there, and they made a difference. And road games are more difficult now to win than before. And we got into this yesterday because, Auburn's already played in a couple of really tough environments. They beat LSU in Baton Rouge. I know that's a really bad LSU team, and they're getting worse because of all these injuries. Speaking of injuries, we got some stuff going on with Arkansas right now that could be pretty big that we'll get to in the next segment. And a close loss on the road at Penn State under whiteout conditions. So that is it's a battle-tested team.
It's not going to be the easiest.
But there is a difference that is made. Like here's one of the aspects of the Penn State game. Like the crowd made a difference in that game. I don't think there's any way you can't say 109,000 or however it was didn't make a difference. 74,000 people can make a difference.
Yes, it can.
At big times. This crowd, this team already showed the ability to feed a little bit off of the crowd that feeds off the team's performance against Texas. I think there's no doubt that the crowd was a little bit of a factor in the way Arkansas just kept coming at them in that game over and over again.
Well, you hear it in our open. It is lit down here on the sidelines talking about the crowd, and we've even had players talk about how great that atmosphere was and how much they got from it and momentum that they were able to carry from the crowd. The crowd, it's not to jump on A&M's little bandwagon, but it ultimately can be a 12th man on the field. It can affect the game.
And of course Arkansas got the 3-point lead that you get on the spread from just being at home. Usually, what is that? Like a 2-3 point
anywhere
swing
between 2 to 3. Yeah.
The line has moved in the last day or so. I mean, and it's kind of moving pretty heavily depending on the sporting book that you're looking at. One of them has had the line move from Arkansas -3 to -5.5. The other books have it at 4.5. So,
money's coming in on the Hogs then.
Hey, the money started going in on Georgia a couple of days before that game, and you're wondering, what's going on here? Somebody had an idea about something. So, who can run the ball, who can stop the run, that's going to be pretty big. The injury bug, though, seems to be hitting Arkansas. I don't say like at a rough time. You just expect it to happen during a football season.
It's never a good time, but also it's not as bad as it is at other places, though. So you're going to take your lumps every single year, and you know that injuries are just a part of the game. You just hope that they don't pile on the way that they are at other schools and the way that they do in other seasons.
Well, LSU is falling apart, especially on the defensive side.
They broke it.
4 starters gone right now. Arkansas's not in a position like that, but when you saw Trey Williams kind of limited against Mississippi, couldn't generate that pass rush that you saw very much against Texas and against Texas A&M. Jalen Catalon does not look like the same player, and the rumors are kind of flying around a little bit about Jalen's availability for this game against Auburn and potentially for what might have been a recurrence of a shoulder injury. So, those are the things that are flying around the message boards and on social media and everything, and nobody's asked about Jalen's availability, hasn't talked about him since Monday when Coach Pittman remarked that he's got a cast on his hand. But remember, he had a shoulder during camp that limited him for a while, and you just kind of hope that if that is something that's bothering him right now, that he's able to get whatever rest that he needs. Does he need surgery? Like, this is the halfway point of the season. This is the point of the season where sometimes a surgery could cost you the remainder of the year. So certainly something to pay attention to moving forward. We've got Bob Holt coming up bottom of the hour. Andy Burcham, the voice of Auburn Tigers Athletics, will be with us in hour number 2. Your calls and texts as well. It's Thursday, so halftime homework and lots to get to on halftime, so stay with us.
That is the gal that'll kill them stunning. Oh, keep me coming. That is the gal that'll kill them stunning. Hey, hey, keep me coming. That is the gal that'll kill them stunning.
Do you love fantasy football?
You give me the number 1 pick, I'm going to give you my 6th pick, and I'm going to give your client 7 years.
Then check out Fantasy Football Sunday with Ty Richardson and Evan Gentry.
Do you have anything to...
Back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your number 1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With the new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the number 1 source for everything football. Head to your website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of these amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner. Do you know the difference between admission and confession? Admission is acknowledging the truth of something. Confession is a formal statement agreeing that you're guilty. Greg Allman admitted he's no angel, but that doesn't mean he confessed his guilt before God. Romans 10:10 says, one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Confess to God that Jesus died in your guilty place, and then you'll receive His amazing grace. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Pray about it.
The Game Day Lodge in Branson is the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. You'll find 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, poker table, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, a fire pit, 2 gas grills, outdoor basketball court, a heated indoor swimming pool nearby, and a 10-minute drive to Silver Dollar City. Not to mention near some of the best golf courses. Just search Game Day Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Airbnb, and VRBO. We're back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With the new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the #1 source for everything football. Head to your website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of these amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man.
Told her I loved her, she didn't care, but anyway, I told her we'd still be friends, and she didn't care, but anyway.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
I think I'll spend my life.
If you're looking for a trade that's going to help your family make a great living, you need to look at welding. Graduates of United Welding Institute find great paying jobs everywhere that welders are needed, and that's pretty much all over the place. Many make up to $2,000 per week and more. If you're interested but not sure if welding is for you, United Welding Institute in Pottsville has a free trial that you can experience. I'll take you through some steps and let you see if welding is for you or not. No strings attached. United Welding Institute also helps you obtain a GI Bill, a scholarship, or a student loan. It's United Welding Institute in Pottsville. Students all over the state, but also from all over the country. You can contact them for a free trial and how to get started at 479-968-3390, or you can log on to UnitedWeldingInstitute.com. All righty here. So Jalen Catalon, we'll see if he's out there Saturday. We don't know what the situation is going to be until the starting lineups are introduced and whether or not number one is out there during the game. But you kind of wonder about his availability because he hasn't looked the same. And a lot of people have remarked about that, and it has been, the big hits, the splash plays. You saw some of that the first week of the season against Rice, a couple of interceptions, a couple of big hits. Since then, either teams have planned well for him or there's something that's not quite right.
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as far as defensive guys go,
right?
yeah. It's somebody that you have to try to plan around, somebody that you have to try to avoid. You have to put packages into your offense to take him out of place, and you've got to scheme around. So I think it's probably a bit of both, but just that explosive and the big play just hasn't been there for not just Jalen Catalon, but for Arkansas for the last couple of weeks. And yeah, that's what happens when you give up 37 points to Georgia and then 52 to Ole Miss. There's not a lot of big defensive plays and big defensive stops. So you hope that that's the big thing that gets turned around, because I saw you put on the rundown just the I knew the takeaway numbers were bad this year, and I knew that the turnover numbers were bad, but I didn't think they were that bad, this bad, and that's just not good. Now, you have to be more productive on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, and it's one of the aspects about, if you lose Catalan for any extended period of time, that's one of the big playmakers on that side of the ball. And right now, when I think of plays to be made defensively, and I think of, plays that really can swing the way that a drive goes or that a game goes, I think of sacks, I think of turnovers. And Catalan's not a guy that really gets into the backfield very much, but he does create havoc in the secondary. He still is tied for the team lead with 2 interceptions. Those were all from the first game. He is the team leader with 4 pass breakups. He's 4th on the team with 46 tackles. But there just haven't been as many of these big plays. And I just Connor brought it up the other day, Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. And I just remember, watching through my binoculars on Saturday in Oxford when Corral runs around the right side, tries to get outside the tackle box, and Catalan had a beat on him. I mean, he had a beat on him. He launched at him, shoulder first, didn't wrap him up. He did hit Corral, but he didn't hit him hard enough to knock him down.
And it made Matt Corral look like a superhero taking that hit on and being able to spin out and keep his feet. So there just feels like you said, there's something just off and just not 100% right. And you talk about pass deflections. I think you said 4, and he's first in the team.
Yeah,
that's right. Not good. Only 4. That should be somewhere closer to 1, at least 1 a game type of numbers. He should be somewhere around 6, 7, or 8.
So on the other end of that discussion about splash plays, we're going to look in the secondary. So often, interceptions come because a quarterback is chased and feels pressure and makes a throw that might not have been very well advised. That's because of a pass rush. You haven't seen a lot of that the last couple of weeks either, and you wonder about Trey Williams' health, that arm. You saw a pretty consistent rush from Williams and the defensive line really from the first 4 games. You haven't seen much the last 2. I think a lot of the first one of these last 2, Georgia, is a little more about the offensive line for Georgia.
Yeah, they're just that big and that talented.
Nobody has gotten to whomever is there, either Bennett or JT Daniels. The thing with Mississippi is a little bit different. You might have had an opportunity to get to Matt Corral or at least chase him a little more if Trey Williams is 100% healthy, but it doesn't look like he is right now. So those are 2 of your best defenders right now that are either not at 100%, and even if Catalan, even if these, the rumors about his shoulder and stuff like that are not true, he's still playing with a cast.
Yeah, he's still
so that's
playing
not
through
at
an
100%. And so defensively, right now you're kind of looking at what happened last year, where Arkansas had this great start defensively. It was a playmaking team, 7 turnovers against Mississippi, but after that, the story changed quite a bit. Last year, final 6 games, 5 turnovers, 5 sacks. I think you'd like to see maybe 1 per game, right? So that's a little bit below average than you'd like to see. This year, the past 2 games, no turnovers, no sacks.
And that's just not going to get the job done.
And a total of 6 takeaways this year, 3 of them from the first game against Rice.
That's definitely not going to get the job done. You just have to do a better job of creating some pressure. And that's why there were a lot of big plays in the Ole Miss game, because you can't ask anybody. I mean, even the All-Pros, the Hall of Fame safeties and cornerbacks, you can't ask anybody to guard a receiver for 6, 7, 10 seconds. I mean, you just can't. That's just way too long. You cannot let a quarterback get that comfortable in the pocket to where he can just wait until something finally opens and develops. You have to be able to force him out of the pocket, get pressure on him, and force him to make mistakes, and ultimately force him to make a mistake early into the play, around that 3-4 second mark.
And the other aspect of this conversation, we'll talk about Arkansas. What about the opponent from this weekend? Auburn's got the same numbers when it comes to turnovers against and for. In fact, these are 2 of the defenses that have the fewest turnovers in the SEC. Arkansas and Auburn both ranked 10th in the conference in creating turnovers, 5, and they both have turned it over just 4 times this year. So, the thing about Auburn, and just looking at the stat sheet that does jump out, they have forced 12 fumbles from opponents, but have only recovered one of them.
Yeah. That's not a good ratio.
And you saw, I remember watching Chance Campbell, the linebacker from Mississippi, routinely trying to strip the ball out of Razorback running backs' hands, and he did. The one turnover by Rocket Sanders was when Campbell stripped it out of his hands. So I'm not exactly sure how Auburn is going about that, but they have created a lot of opportunities with the ball on the ground with those 12 forced fumbles, but only recovered one of them.
That just sounds like, to me, bad luck, and this is the ball not bouncing your way, or you are doing a good job of stripping the ball, but it's also between the tackles where there's a lot of offensive players there at the same time. So the more that they strip, only recovering 1 out of 12, that's not a good ratio, and that's not what you want. But if they're already stripping 12, that number of recovery will go up.
Hey, Arkansas's forced 11 fumbles. They recovered only 1, too. So maybe whoever is able to
something's
jump on the
give.
ball at an opportune time and get a lucky bounce may end up with a little bit of a leg up on Saturday at Razorback Stadium. All right, we're going to step aside for a break in just a moment, joined by Bob Holt shortly. We are brought to you by our friends at Pradco Outdoor Fishing. If you're pond and creek fishing, nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel Crick Hopper. Twitch it, pop it, walk it, swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. Works great in tandem with light spinning rods and reels with 4 or 6-pound fishing line. That's the Rebel Crick Hopper at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Rebel Crick Hopper. The Bob Holt joins us next on Halftime. Halftime is brought to you by Crabtree RV Center. 4 generations making your family dreams come true.
Are you looking for someone to cater your tailgate party, office party, any party? Have you heard of them Rub It Snout guys? They are best known for their all-grub dry rubs and fresh pork rinds, but they also offer catering. They offer a variety of smoked or grilled meat options, along with jambalaya paired with side options of your choice. Go to rubitsnout.com to place your order and view all of the catering options available. Rub It Snout offers local catering in the Northwest Arkansas area.
Dear, it's 1908. Don't you think we should get electricity?
And stop using candles to see at night.
It's just electricity lights up the room fast. It's more reliable than candles blowing out, and people seem to love it nationwide.
Well, candles are...
Dear, did you just run into the wall?
Nope. May I have a new candle, please?
Historically, switching to new technology is a no-brainer. Today, it's AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Switch to AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan. May not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's Pre-Owned Truck Month at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw. The best selection, no payments for 90 days. It's hunting season. If you're headed to deer camp, you need a new truck to get there.
Yes, you definitely do. Come down here and see us, guys. We got some awesome deals going on right now. It is deer season right now, so if you need a 4-wheel drive truck to get back there in the woods, we've got them. Come down here and see us. It's Pre-Owned Truck Month at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford. We've got some awesome deals. We've got crew cab 4-wheel drive trucks, less than $300 a month. I mean, we have all the way up to your King Ranches, your work trucks. We've got everything that you're looking for. So come down here and see us and see what we have going on.
And no payments for 90 days. That means no payments till next year.
Yes, it is a beautiful thing. No payments until 2022. It's an awesome thing to say. You don't got to worry about pulling money out of your pocket for the month of October, November, or December. Come and see us. No payments until 2022.
Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw.
Law's Drugstore in Fort Smith has COVID vaccinations available today for you and your family. Law's Drugstore has the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 and up. The vaccine is safe and effective in preventing severe cases of COVID. Just call 452-6116 to schedule your appointment or stop by Law's Drugstore at 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family. Call them now, 452-6116.
For a limited time, time. Art's Barbecue and Burgers is serving up some great combo platters with all your favorite choices from Art's. Ribs and brisket, catfish and brisket, pulled pork and brisket, plus catfish and ribs. And you can add a hot link, sausage, or 2 tamales to any of the combo platters. Make your combo plate any way you want it to be. And don't forget, every Friday night is all-you-can-eat catfish at Art's Barbecue and Burgers, Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith. Real smoked barbecue.
Ever had a water heater that caused flooding? Or a water heater that won't put out hot water? What's worse is when the family uses up all the hot water, leaving you a cold shower. This can be a nightmare. Hi, it's Emily with Mr. Rooter Plumbing in Fort Smith. Did you know that we offer tankless water heaters so you never have to have this problem again? When you need plumbing, call Mr. Rooter in Fort Smith or book online at mrrooter.com. We're your neighborly company.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels and see why they were voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is ESPN 95.3. Don't miss the Morning Rush live from the Stadium Shop on Razorback Road this Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. Start every Saturday with Arkansas Game Day 5 hours before kickoff. Presented by Randall Ford and Bud Light. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
All right, getting in here with Bob Holt, sports writer extraordinaire from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Bob, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
No, doing well.
We're great. The rain has gone off. We got fall weather finally. You got a sellout for Saturday, Arkansas versus Auburn, and this look. Everybody said every game in a 12-game season is going to be big. This game to me, Bob, feels like. I mean, this is where you get a good sense of what bowl game you might be playing for the second half of the season, or at least the tier of bowl game that you're playing for. Like for me, a win over Auburn is the last hope to keep Arkansas on a trajectory to play in, one of the top tier-ish games that the SEC has a contract with, whether it be the Citrus Bowl or the Outback, or, you want to play on January 1st. A win against Auburn goes a long way getting you there.
Yeah, because, this is a home game. Auburn's good. They're always going to be good, but you don't feel like this is a, vintage top 10 kind of Auburn team. It's a new coaching staff, and they're making the transition like Arkansas did last year, like a lot of SEC teams do. Every couple of years, it seems like there's 3 or 4 changes. But I think being back at home, and especially when you look at the schedule, just is very unforgiving. And so, if Arkansas is going to have a shot to win 8 or 9 games, I think they got to win this one. But it's not going to be easy. I mean, Arkansas is favored for the first time in like 4 years. Going back to Brett Bielema days. So it's a big win. I mean, it's a big game for Arkansas to get a win.
Teams have the same records. Both have lost to top-notch teams. I mean, Georgia and Penn State. For Auburn, I mean, those are 2 top 10 teams. At least the time that they played them, they were. And going into Penn State and losing by 8 on a whiteout night, I mean, a loss is still a loss. But
that's pretty impressive.
It's a pretty decent performance by Auburn on the road there. And teams that can run the ball on the road will always worry you a little bit, especially against a defense in Arkansas right now that is struggling against the run. And, Trey Williams doesn't look 100%. We're seeing, rumors there about maybe Catalon's availability for this weekend and maybe beyond. So, if I'm Auburn and I know I run the ball well and I ran it for 279 yards last year against this team, that's what I'm going to try to do again, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. The two SEC games, Auburn's passed, I think, 91 times and run at 58. But a lot of that, they fell behind at LSU 13-0 and trailed 19-10 third quarter, so they really had to pass a lot. And then at Georgia, they were behind, 17-3, 24-3. So, but yeah, ideally they'd like a balance. With Brian Harsin talked about that Monday. But yeah, Tank Bigsby, I think, ran for 140 something on Arkansas. You look at, Bo Nix is a running threat. Not just scrambling around, which he does very well to buy time on pass plays, but he's a good running. I think he's their third leading rusher. Jarquez Hunter is having a pretty good year, freshman. Although I think he got 94 yards on one carry against Alabama State. But in their offensive line, if you look at it, I think if I read their depth chart right, they've got like 4 seniors, so they've got a veteran offensive line much like Arkansas does. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I mean, I would imagine it'll be a one-score game that goes down to the wire. I don't know if it'll be as wild as last week, but I certainly don't expect either team to pull away Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants that much excitement back-to-back weeks. I think too much heart medication will be dished out at Walgreens and other pharmacies across the state if that happens again. But, Bob, with the rushing game that you just talked about and the fact of the matter of Bo Nix has only thrown for less than 1,200 yards halfway through the season, not a very productive passing game. Is this the week to go and be 100% committed to a four-man front?
I've been wondering about that because, Arkansas ran some four-man in practices in preseason camp, and they talked about having the depth to do that. And, of course, Bo Nix, he's been turnover-prone in the past, but he's only thrown one pick on the season, I believe, last week at Georgia. So, yeah, I keep wondering if they're going to break out that four-man line because I think that definitely would help, the run defense. So we'll see what happens. They might do some mix and match, but they really haven't run. I guess they ran some four-man front against Georgia Southern because they're obviously a wishbone team, triple option team. They ran some against Rice, but they haven't done it in these SEC games. And, it obviously served them well against Texas and against A&M. And I don't know if it would have mattered what they ran against Georgia. And Ole Miss, I think, just has a really good offense, and Arkansas's defense didn't have a very good day. And, like you guys mentioned, I think Catalan's banged up. Sam alluded to that. He's probably got to wear his cast all season. So, and he's big in their run defense.
Mm-hmm. On the other side of the ball, though, for Arkansas this week, Auburn's got a decent, defense. They don't give up a lot of points. Gave up 34 last week to Georgia, the most that they've given up this season. And in today's college football, if that's the most you've given up through 6 games, you count that as a win on the defensive side of the ball. So which area of the offensive game needs to be most productive for the Hogs to really attack this Auburn defense?
Well, I think it always comes down to the run game. Obviously, Traylon Burks went up and got a couple of jump balls last week, and Warren Thompson had a pretty good game. Trey Knox, got involved more in the passing game at tight end. They really got involved for the first time all season. But I think you always have to run to set up the pass, and I think KJ Jefferson passes the ball. Sam Pittman has said this, so I guess I'm really just kind of building on what Sam said. But yeah, I think KJ plays best when he's running the ball, and that helps the passing game obviously set it up. So most teams, if you can't run the ball, it's hard to win in the SEC or probably most leagues. So you want a balance, but you really got to be able to run the ball to win, I believe.
I know, Bob, you were on the coach's teleconference yesterday, and week by week, not rumors, but the pressure, I guess, just continues to build at LSU to stop a losing streak and try to turn things around, and the injuries just keep coming. As I read your report today, Keishon Butte out for the rest of the year, their top receiver, a leg injury. Lost Eli Ricks, their starting senior quarterback. Already Derek Stingley was probably done for the year. A couple of defensive ends. It's a mess, a total mess at LSU, and that has nothing to do with Orgeron's ability to coach, but the coach still is responsible for all of it, and it feels like it's really spiraling out of control right now for the Tigers.
Yeah, injuries are part of the game, but they've lost, two really good pass rushers, their top 2 cornerbacks, their top receiver. Miles Brennan, who might have been their starting quarterback this year. He was their starter before he got hurt last year. He got hurt in camp. I think, Max Johnson's doing an okay job. But, yeah, and I give Ed credit. He just, he's not acting like he's got his head in the sand. He knows what's going on, and it's hard to believe. I mean, LSU's 8-8 since they went 15-0 and won it all. And, they've played a lot of good teams in that stretch. The All-SEC schedule opened up at UCLA this year, and UCLA beat them, but UCLA's proven to be a pretty good team, although you thought, LSU would win that game. And then you just look at the schedule. I mean, they went to Kentucky, and before the season, you would have thought, well, LSU's going to win at Kentucky. Kentucky's having a great year, and they didn't just beat LSU. I mean, they hammered them. They were beating them 35-7, I think it was at one point. And now LSU's got to go to Florida, and they've still got to play Alabama and A&M and Ole Miss and Arkansas, and they've got one. I think they're playing ULM maybe in there. That's really the only game you look at and say, well, they're going to win that game. And I'm not saying they can't beat Florida because that game's in Baton Rouge. I'm not saying they can't beat Arkansas. That game's in Baton Rouge. I think A&M showed us they were struggling. They beat Alabama, so anything's possible. But it doesn't look good for LSU. I mean, it looks like 6-6 would maybe be, a reasonably good record based on who they have left, and that obviously is not going to cut it. And you read that Scott Woodward, their AD's on the sidelines all the time, and they talks about him. They meet and he's being supportive. I would say he's probably down there evaluating everything. Mm-hmm. And plus, he did not hire Ed. Mm. And so, I mean, at this point, it would really be a surprise, I think, if Ed was retained. I hate to say that because I like Ed and everything, but I mean, I think you got to live in reality. And whether you turn on the SEC network and see Paul Feinbaum or read all the, everything on the internet and in the Louisiana papers, I mean, it's all about, Ed Orgeron and who's going to replace him.
To kind of tie the whole conversation that we've had here today, and you said you don't think that he's really going to be retained by LSU with Ed O, and bringing in the Auburn side of this conversation, do you think Gus Malzahn's name could possibly be thrown into the pot? I mean, a guy with plenty of SEC experience, was most way successful at Auburn, and just as somebody that knows the landscape and knows how to navigate the SEC West, just to kind of bring a little bit of stability to the program. Do you think his name could possibly be thrown into the mix?
I mean, I like Gus. I think Gus is a good coach. I thought he did a good job at Auburn. You could argue Auburn is the toughest job in the country because you're in the same state as Alabama, and your two biggest rivals are Alabama and Georgia, and Auburn fans expect to at least split, against those teams every year, and it's very hard. But I don't think LSU would hire a guy who just got fired by another SEC West team. I mean, I think if they were going to target SEC coaches, and this may be one reason that A&M gave Jimbo Fisher that nice contract extension and nice raise, because the guy who's at LSU now hired him at A&M. And I don't know if they could pry Jimbo away from A&M. I don't know that LSU is a better job than A&M. They're both really good jobs, obviously. I could see LSU trying to get Lane Kiffin. I don't know if he would leave Ole Miss. You can say LSU is a better job than Ole Miss, but Kiffin seems to be doing pretty well there. And, but I think if they were going to target somebody in the SEC, it would be Jimbo Fisher and Lane Kiffin.
It's interesting, too, because I read that in Mississippi you can only sign coaches to 4-year contracts because they're public employees. Any public employee contract can be no longer than 4 years. So, if I'm Lane Kiffin and, the LSU's got more money, more security in that case, I don't know, maybe a little something to think about. Bob, we got Major League Playoffs tonight. It's going to be an awesome game, Giants-Dodgers. Quick answer here. Does this game go 4 hours, and do you make it to the end?
I'll probably watch it. I mean, there's a lot. I know Tampa's playing somebody. Who's Tampa playing in the NFL game? I can't remember.
Philly.
Eagles.
Yeah. Baseball game better than football.
I'm gonna. Even though the Tigers unfortunately are not in the playoffs this year, I'll probably watch. I actually watched that Dodger-Giants game to the end the other night when it was pretty lopsided. I think the Dodgers hit a home run in the 8th to make it 7-2. But I thought, well, I've watched it this long. But it's obviously high level baseball, and I think Scherzer's going for the Dodgers, right?
No, they're
Am I
going to
right
throw
about
Julio
that?
Urias today. Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Okay.
Bob, we got to run. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, Scherzer's not even going to pitch out of the bullpen today. It's Julio Urias and the rest of the Dodgers relievers, and we wrap up the first hour next.
Wherever work takes you, we've got you. The BF Goodrich Trademan Support Program. Get a $70 rewards card after online submission with the purchase of 4 new BF Goodrich passenger or light truck tires. You also get a $60 satisfaction guarantee and 24-hour worksite or roadside assistance. Southern Tire Mart just off of I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith. BF Goodrich Tires and best-in-class service. See bfgoodrichtires.com/tradesman for complete details. Offer expires 12/31/2021. Void where prohibited.
Are you a contractor needing some color picking help for your customers? The Paint Store in Van Buren will do that. We know what contractors need. We've done it for 33 years. Send your customers to us. We will take care of them in a friendly way. Let us do some work for you. Our blend of Richards paint makes the choice easy. The Paint Store in Van Buren is ready to help your customers right now. Call us at 474-4505 or stop by 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren.
Ashley Air is proud to be an official sponsor of Razorback Athletics. Our service to the River Valley began in 1958, the same year that the legendary Frank Broyles took over as football coach. The Hogs have had some great coaches, but we've never had so many on campus all at once. Sam Pittman, Eric Musselman, Dave Van Horn, and Mike Neighbors, just to name a few. What an incredible team. We put together quite a team at Ashley Air, too. On game day, call the Hogs. When your AC breaks, call Ashley Air.
You've had the hand-breaded chicken sandwich at Hardee's, but have you tried it with crispy bacon, melty Swiss, and their new hot honey sauce? It's the ultimate flavor of sweet and heat. Get it while you can, because this honey has some bite. Taste the sweet heat for yourself with the new hot honey hand-breaded chicken sandwich at Hardee's. Go get it now.
Feed your happy. Available for a limited time at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price and participation may vary.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing, and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Are you looking for a new place to call home? Whether you're looking for an apartment, duplex, townhome, or a house, Trinity Multifamily has you covered. They even have options in surrounding states, from Texas to Michigan and Kansas to Tennessee. If you're looking for a new place to call home, make Trinity Multifamily your first call at 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Let Carco Car Sales, formerly Hertz Car Sales, show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley in eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating people right. The friendly and knowledgeable staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced right to fit your budget, so you can leave with a peace of mind knowing that you are getting a quality, well-maintained vehicle. Come see the team at Carco Auto Sales, formerly Hertz Car Sales, at 2810 Midland Boulevard today. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales, when you're ready.
This is ESPN 95.3. Hey, don't miss the Morning Rush live from the Stadium Shop on Razorback Road this Friday from 6 to 9 a.m.
Lord Almighty, I feel my temperature rising.
Need a little bit more halftime in your life? Make sure to download the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast. Eastside Liquor in Fort Smith has the best deals in the River Valley on liquor, beer, and wine. Stop by 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith and make sure to check out their Facebook page for weekly specials. The Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast is part of the Hit That Line Podcast Network and is available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Today's hashtag holiday is one that I can celebrate, and eventually you, Drew, probably going to have to celebrate it as well. I don't know how Matty T keeps his lovely locks for as long as he has.
It's called
baldness
Rogaine.
does not fall.
Is that what it's called?
I've been using Rogaine for 6 years.
Really?
Man.
Well, baldness doesn't run in my family. Both sets of grandparents in their late 80s still had full heads of hair, so I should be good.
You wait until next year. We'll shave your head after you lose the picks, the college football
I prefer
picks.
you didn't because I have a lot of scars in the head.
Never mind then. I don't want to bear your scars anymore.
Yeah,
You already
big
bear them here emotionally on this show.
Big car accident, goes from the side of the head all the way up and around.
Well, I can get with Be Bald and Free Day because I've been pretty open about that for a long time now. What I did not realize, BE tweeted to me with a gif of Pat Sajak having his toupee removed by Vanna White.
That can't be real.
Is Pat Sajak bald?
That cannot
and I was
be
unaware
real.
Of this, or is this just a ploy?
It's got to be a ploy. He's probably also wearing like a bald cap on.
He's got a wig on top of a wig, is what you're telling me in
Yes.
this case? Wow. All right. Well, good for him. I saw one of my favorite promotions that I ever took advantage of as a sports fan growing up is back in Pittsburgh. And it's like you can't do this with Arkansas men's basketball right now because they've sold out the whole arena, right? Bud Walton Arena is pretty much gone. Like I guess I don't know what the situation is with student tickets, but you won't be able to do at Razorback basketball games what I remember I did at Penguins games. And they're opening it back up now. I mean, they had a sellout streak for a long time. You can tell the sellout streak is done when they start discounting tickets for students. But this is awesome. And they're bringing it back, and it's called the Student Rush. How much fun would this be if you lived in a major league city for any sporting event? And the Penguins, which are big in Pittsburgh, an hour before the opening face-off, sell, and I don't know what the prices are now, but back then, and this would have been 22, 23 years ago, a little bit more, $16 for the best available seat in the house an hour before face-off. Like that was, as all you had to do was show your student ID for any school that you went to. You could have been a high school student, you could be a college student. You probably could have been a student that was expelled from school 10 years before.
As long as you still had the ID.
Kept your ID, and you could get your $16 ticket. Man,
That's
I mean,
a good idea.
I looked like a hero one day, Drew. I took a date there. So
Yeah.
First date, and we got second row seats behind the net that the Penguins shot at in the first and third periods. It's almost like I planned it that way. If I could have done it, I would have had an Italian waiter next to us singing songs and bring flowers down. But you don't do that at hockey games.
No, you don't. But that's pretty lucky.
It
to
felt
be able to get to have that basically fall in your lap there on a date, and it seems like it's a great idea. It's just so. If you get there an hour before and you just have to wait in line and
you wait
then
in line. Yeah, the line forms before an hour before.
So if you're first in line, automatically getting the best. But if you're 50th in line, you might still be getting the $16 worth ticket.
But those were like $25 or $30 tickets that you got for $16. So they were just basically emptying the inventory. But that's a
good idea.
Look, in that city, in Pittsburgh, Penguins tickets are tough to come by. Steelers tickets are tough to come by. You can find Pirates tickets.
They'll give them away.
Thrown around on the bus, down on the floor. It's pretty easy. Now, let's take this conversation to what's going on at Arkansas. Tickets are tough to get now for these games. They really are. Have been for baseball for a long time. And, the situation with the change in the donation levels and all of that is rejiggering where everybody is sitting. And it's probably going to be tougher to get tickets moving forward. That's just my guess. Bud Walton Arena, what is it, totally sold out for men's basketball?
I think they're down to, the last I heard was 150 season tickets.
After sellout after sellout. I guess depending on who shows up is how the team is doing and what the opponent is.
But you sold the tickets.
The women's basketball team, from the last time I saw a Mike Neighbors press conference, he said that the lower bowl is mostly sold out for
That's
season
good.
tickets for women's basketball.
That is
which
really
is
good for
a
women's
huge
basketball.
Step forward. And now this is the second sellout for football. So tickets are, I mean, they're
coming hard to handle.
I mean, you had trouble giving away tickets to some of the football games during the CM years.
I mean, I've had 2 people ask me for tickets, and I'm brand new. Like, I don't have that many connections.
Wow, man. I mean, that's truly being accepted in Arkansas sports media when now they're starting to ask you for tickets and you've not even worked here for 6 months.
It's more of asking me to ask other people.
So
it's more like, hey, and I know you don't have the tickets, and I know you don't have connections to the tickets. I need you to use your connections for their connections to get me tickets.
It's the seven
so far
degrees of Kevin Bacon to get tickets.
Exactly, and so far it hasn't worked out. And I haven't asked you yet. You got to hook up? No, okay.
I don't have tickets.
Well, I'm sorry to the people that have asked.
Yeah, I don't worry about tickets, but I do that on purpose. You know, back when I worked for the Travelers, like I could have given away 150 tickets to any game I wanted. That's minor league baseball. With Arkansas, I don't even think about that anymore. It's like there's too much demand for too little tickets, and I guess most people just aren't special enough.
Well, I know
a couple of people I'll work on that for.
I know for the Grizzlies broadcast, both radio and TV, they get 2 or 3 tickets for every home game, and that's the way I've been able to go to a decent amount of Grizzlies games and sit pretty far down low is through broadcasters' tickets. So they don't do anything. You don't get that through Arkansas?
No, I don't get any tickets, man.
That's probably a good thing.
I'd have to pay for them.
Yeah, and that's probably a good thing. I bet that'd be a pain and a half trying to divvy them out to people and constantly people texting you if they knew you had them.
We would just turn it into a weekly giveaway on this very show, I think is what we would do. Because you realize how close I was to giving away my Dave Matthews Band tickets to last night's concert.
You almost gave them away on the show?
I was just about ready to give them away on the show and be like, anybody that feels like sitting around outside, maybe by yourself, in the rain.
Because you don't want them to go to waste.
Go for it. And then I was talked into going there, and I'm happy I did.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of fun, even if you are locked out of Bud Walton Arena during men's basketball, because you can hear it right here on ESPN Arkansas. Anyway, 877-377-6963, the number for halftime. And it is Thursday, so that means we get into the second hour with halftime homework. And I got a good one for Drew. We talk way too much about East-West Memphis. I'm going to teach you how to speak like the people from my hometown.
Okay.
That's right. And we'll get into that after the break on halftime.
When you've escaped the screens and the sun bathes everything in a golden glow, and your friend hands you a cold organic beer that tastes as perfect as nature itself, that's pure gold. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the first national USDA certified organic beer. Organic by nature. Enjoy responsibly. 2020 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Peter Pender Zone of Wave Rural Connect is open. That fiber internet, phone, and TV service you've been hearing so much about is now available for areas south of the Arkansas River, to Coxville, to east of Cecil, and over to Roseville, with amazingly fast internet starting at $49.95 a month. Call 1-833-4WAVE-RC or go online to signup.waveruralconnect.com to get signed up. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities that we serve.
Looking for a fence company that will provide the personal touch to your fence or gating project? Call Dusty's Fence Company at 479-629-4190. Dusty's Fence Company specializes in custom wood design, vinyl fencing, chain link and ornamental iron projects, and they can even stain your fence to complete your project. Family owned and in business for 20 years, you will deal with the same person from start to finish. That's Dusty's Fence Company, 479-629-4190.
up, and away with Oklahoma's longest-running balloon festival, Podo Balloon Fest, October 15th and 16th. Escape the ordinary, feel the heat, and get up close with hot air balloons and pilots, nightly balloon glows, and tethered balloon rides. Get into the excitement of monster trucks, smash-up derby cars, helicopter, carnival rides, food and craft vendors, and much more. Brought to you by Choctaw Casino, Camping World Podo, DreamWorks Botanicals, and Dobson Fiber. For more information, follow on Facebook, PodoBalloonFest.net, or download the Podo Chamber app. Podo Balloon Fest, October 15th and 16th.
You've had the hand-breaded chicken sandwich at Hardee's, but have you tried it with crispy bacon, melty Swiss, and their new hot honey sauce? It's the ultimate flavor of sweet and heat. Get it while you can, because this honey has some bite. Taste the sweet heat for yourself with the new hot honey hand-breaded chicken sandwich at Hardee's. Go get it now.
Feed your happy. Available for a limited time at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price and participation may vary.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, a stalled out boundary will be moving very little over the next 24 hours. We're looking at some very heavy rain, especially across the north. We could pick up to an inch of rainfall just today. Our high temperatures mid to upper 70s. Showers and thunderstorms with some heavier downpours tonight. Overnight lows, low 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. Book your appointment at MrRooter.com.
I hate everything you just said. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
All right, second hour halftime. Here's what we got going on. Halftime homework, just a moment. Little stuff on the Major League playoffs. We'll say goodbye to Ray Fosse, longtime broadcaster for the Oakland A's. And also was a former All-Star catcher. Too many people know him as the guy that Pete Rose ran over in the All-Star game, and it kind of doesn't encapsulate what his career is about. Also talk with Andy Burcham, bottom of this hour. He is the radio voice of Auburn Tigers Athletics, men's basketball, baseball, football. So we'll talk about Arkansas, Auburn with Andy later on. Your calls and texts as well. If you want to be part of the show, 877-377-6963. And let's just get right into it here on a Thursday with Halftime Homework.
What kind of homework assignment? I have a tough assignment. I'm thinking we should talk about the homework assignment.
Dude, did you do all your homework last night?
I'm not doing it. This is hard.
You really did your homework, didn't you?
It's time for Halftime Homework.
What do you boys have for me today?
Well, first, I got to let you know you need to be at Buffalo Wild Wings tonight. Football on television. They got baseball on TV, too. Wall-to-wall televisions. So if your crew is hungry for flavor and football and baseball, this is your lucky day for both. All three of them, in fact, at Buffalo Wild Wings. Boneless Thursday. Buy one, get one free. Hot and crispy boneless wings. Your crew couldn't leave hungry if they tried. So you can get the Buffalo Wild Wings today in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro for the greatest of all times. BOGO boneless wings of equal value are at participating locations on Thursdays. Not valid with other offers. Size exclusions do apply while supplies last. Limit one. Fees may apply. All right, let's see. Drew assigned me
a great album,
The Carter 3 by Lil Wayne, and I enjoyed it. This is a It's filled with bangers, if I were to use a term from Matty T.
Bangers and bops, man. That's all it is.
Bangers and bops. Amelia is terrific. I got a real laugh out of Phone Home. Lollipop, pretty good. There's another name of a song here that I can't say on the radio. This has been fun. Might actually turn me on to some more Lil Wayne because I do like people that nobody else sounds like, and I don't think anybody sounds like him.
Nah, nobody sounds like Wheezy.
What does he sound like? Can you do an impression?
Something like that. Was that good enough for you? Because I don't know. I don't know how to write rap lyrics, and I don't know enough of
it's more of it's a little bit more high pitched.
That Lollipop song was a big hit, wasn't it?
Oh, huge hit. I mean, even the remix was pretty big too.
And very popular in certain establishments that apparently Michael in Fort Smith has had a chance to attend and enjoy that very.
They're all working their way through college, Phil.
Sure they are. All right, but that's a good assignment, Drew. You've given me some good music.
Good. I'm glad that I redeemed myself in your book from giving you Relapse by Eminem.
Giving me the most evil hour of music I've ever heard in my life from Eminem.
And you didn't even finish it because it's 2 hours of music.
I can't finish it because I think I would have melted away if I listened to any more. So, yeah, you redeemed yourself.
Okay, good.
Very well done. Now, I assigned Drew the I'm going to forget the year, 85?
Yes.
1985 seminal, you can use the word seminal for this, rap movie, Crush Groove, that involved like all of the great hip-hop and rap artists that really weren't known very much from the early to mid-'80s, and this kind of introduced a lot of them to the public on a grand scale. I've only seen the movie once, so what did you think?
Music in it obviously is great. I mean, obviously, Run DMC, Fat Boys, Beastie Boys even make an appearance in it. Who else was in it?
LL Cool J.
LL Cool J was in it. Curtis Blow.
New Edition.
Yeah.
You got the list kind of goes on and on here. Sheila E.
See, I didn't know much of Sheila E. I didn't really know who she was before the movie.
Well, Sheila E. had a hit, and then
just one, just the hit.
Well, I don't remember honestly too many of her songs, but I remember who she was. I remember she played the drums, and I remember her being the band leader for the ill-fated Magic Johnson talk show.
But didn't even know he had a talk show.
Yeah, as far as like her songs are concerned, I know there was one that made a big splash. I just can't remember the name. That's all.
Is this it?
This is the video that has the most views on YouTube.
This is the one.
Glamorous Life.
The Glamorous Life. That's right. Yeah, this is the one. This is familiar.
Okay, it's not a bad beat.
She wants to be. Sounds 1980s, doesn't it?
It does.
Very.
In a good way. In a good way. But now picture her on a stage playing the drums with Magic Johnson sitting at a large desk trying to host a talk show. That did not go well.
Yeah, it doesn't
at all.
seem like it works that great.
I think we brought this up last week. Like, what had more episodes, the Chevy Chase talk show or the Magic Johnson talk show? Both came out around the same time and both failed miserably. And Magic has done bigger and better things since then. I don't know if Chevy Chase has done much since they kicked him out of Community.
I mean, he showed up for 5 seconds in the Vacation remake.
Yeah.
Where they just kind of propped him up for
What
a
has
second.
he done since
Besides
then?
just be a jerk to everybody?
Pretty much described.
See, and that hurts knowing that he's a bad person.
Well, Magic Johnson the Magic Hour had 85 episodes.
It did?
That's pretty good.
I didn't realize it was on that long.
How many seasons is that? Just
80,
one?
Maybe 83 of them went direct to video.
Chevy Chase had 64 episodes.
All right. Good job for Magic.
There's
Outlasted.
no way that 64 episodes
That
of the
seems like
Chevy Chase
yeah,
show made it to air.
I've actually gone on YouTube and watched a full episode of that show just to watch how bad it was.
Well, go watch.
Were
one
the
of
monologues
Magic
not even
Hours.
funny?
No, terribly unfunny.
Chevy Chase didn't even have funny monologues. He's a
He wasn't a monologue guy to begin with.
He's
was
a
an
movie
awkward
comedian.
Moment, sort of create an awkward moment, an awkward line kind of. Movie. All right, here's what I got for you this week, Drew. I think I did this with Ty maybe 3 years ago. But if you want to learn things about me, you got to learn about my hometown. It's kind of what we've done with you.
Yeah.
East-West Memphis.
I've been teaching you, so please inform me.
So I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Grew up there. I've lived in Arkansas for almost 21 years, but I still identify as both an Arkansan and a Pittsburgher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sound like either of them. I don't say
You
yins.
do not.
I am not a yinzer. I don't speak Pittsburghese, but I can, and I do understand it. And you like Pittsburghese, yinzers, this is unique. A lot of folks on the East Coast, some of those accents feel like they blend together a little bit. Same in the South, that we all have different
dialects, but the same.
There. But the Pittsburghese is really just between Western Pennsylvania and Eastern Ohio, and nothing sounds like it. I got some sound bites for you.
If like Eastern Ohio enough for like Cleveland?
Not quite Cleveland. You go to about Youngstown, or as they would say in Youngstown, Youngstown. That's how they're going to speak. So you're going to learn some Pittsburghese phrases.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a couple of sound bites just to give you an idea of what you're up against here. So the first one comes from, this would have been the late 90s, early aughts, when the Steelers finally introduced a mascot. His name is Steely McBeam, and the woman that the newscaster refers to is the one who introduced it. This is prototypical yinzer.
All right, I'm ready.
Steely McBeam is the brainchild of Diane Rolls of Valencia and Butler County. So, the question, how did she come up with that name?
Steely McBeam, okay? Well, Steely because it's a steel pine. Mick because the Steelers are Irish, okay? And Beam because steel beam, plus my husband loves Jim Beam. So there you go. It's an all-win situation, right?
You can hear as she swallows her R's, rolls the L's, and kind of, and the tan. That's one that is always going to stand out for you there. But here's another one. This is an older guy. This is also from a news story. And this to me is like, I know this guy because there are literally 500,000 of them in the city of Pittsburgh.
Hopefully it's not toxic. It's all over the street, the property. My mom's car over there. The yard. Guys like me and my family and the people on the street and around the surrounding area are the ones that get left in the bag. You know what I mean? Look at this big piece of mess. Pittsburgh's the best place to live. I don't care what anybody says. If you got to do some cleanup, hey, it is what it is. But we're still number one out here. All right.
All right, now you notice that the city is not called Pittsburgh by Pittsburghers. It's called Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
Where's the C?
I don't know where that found its way in there, but that's exactly the way they
does
speak.
two T's make a C sound?
Maybe in some parts of the world. It does in Pittsburgh, but for that city. Here's another one. This is Myron Cope. This is the guy who invented the terrible towel, was a longtime Steelers color commentator, and I think he's the most famous yinzer of all time.
He eluded the pass rush, then he went through a sandwich, like mayonnaise dripping out of a sandwich. Two guys trying to sandwich him, and then he busted a tackle, and he finally ends up with 8 yards on a play. Terrific. Yoy.
All right, now I want you to know, I don't know if you know a single word that Myron just said. I know exactly what he said.
I heard sandwich, mayonnaise dripping out of a sandwich. Other than that, not really.
Well, now
and he said the word joy at the end.
There's a lot of this stuff that's online. You can study. You can find the way to do it. But what I'm going to need for you next week is a paragraph. One paragraph written. I don't know how many sentences that's going to be.
Well, it's at least 3 sentences.
Let's say at least 3 sentences. A paragraph of Pittsburghese that I can understand.
But nobody else can.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I have a feeling you're not going to be able to hit all the high notes the way that they do. So and Zach from Paragould hits it. That accent reminds him of Pat McAfee. You know why, Zach? He's a yinzer. He's from Pittsburgh. He speaks like that because his entire family speaks like that. Yeah, if you ever want to know what a yinzer really sounds like, McAfee is maybe now he's the most famous example of that. But Joe Manganiello, the famous actor, he does this too. Michael Keaton's a Pittsburgher. He's able to do it. If you grow up around it and you don't sound like it, you can still sound like a yinzer if you just want to try to every once in a while. Okay? It does work.
That's pretty good.
What do you got for me?
In honor of Halloween Kills coming out and the Queen
on Friday.
The Queen of Scream herself, Jamie Lee Curtis, being in it, I'm going to assign you a Jamie Lee Curtis movie.
Ooh.
And not one that you've seen. So it's not only just for Jamie Lee, but also because I like one of your former co-hosts, I love rom-coms. And I believe this is the only rom-com that she is in. It's called You Again. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis in it. Kristen Bell is in it. Sigourney Weaver is in it.
So this is
I believe Betty White
movie?
even makes an appearance.
This is a newer movie?
Came out in 2010.
So it's newish.
It's not bad. I mean, and it's a good movie. I enjoyed it.
You can't ask me to maybe watch Escape from New York that she was
No.
in? Or
It has to be something you haven't seen, and I know for a fact you haven't seen this.
She played Dorothy Stratton, the famous Playboy centerfold that was murdered in Death of a Centerfold.
Not going to do
Can't
that.
watch that one?
Here's the synopsis from IMDb. When a young woman realizes her brother is about to marry the girl who bullied her in high school, she sets out to expose the fiancé's true colors.
Mm-hmm. And that's Kristen Bell's character.
Can't I watch the Staying Alive sequel, Perfect?
No.
Which really is supposed to have stunk.
Then Phil can, if we're just assigning our own homeworks at this point, then I'll just write up a paragraph in Memphis speak, and we'll do that next week.
I got a good one for you. We can combine the two assignments. I just remembered this because I'm looking at her filmography.
Mm-hmm.
She's in a movie from 1988 called Dominic and Eugene. Stars Tom Hulce and Ray Liotta. I remember this movie. Filmed in Pittsburgh.
Have you seen it?
Yes, unfortunately I have.
Well, then
But that
I
would be the
can't
great way
assign
to
it for you.
combine Yinzers and Jamie Lee Curtis together.
You can do that for extra credit.
Hey, Phil, you're in such luck because the director of this movie that Drew just assigned, guess another movie that he's directed, Time's Up, Paul Blart, Mall Cop 2. Not the first Paul Blart, the second Paul Blart.
Well,
Mall
that's
Cop.
on the list of greatest sequels of all time.
It is. I mean, everyone loves Paul Blart and Jelly number 2.
Would you argue that Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 could be better than the original?
I think you could.
I would love to argue that point.
I honestly don't know if I've ever seen the second one. I've seen the first one.
I've never watched either.
That's exactly right.
But no, you're watching You Again.
Okay, so I'm watching You Again. You're going to learn how to speak like a Pittsburgher.
Yes.
And
Don't miss out on hog reaction after every Razorback football game. Presented by Game Day Live.
Coach Pittman, sir, I love you, man. This fan base loves you. You got the whole train rolling out of the darkness. I'll say this, Razorback football is what? It's back. Running back USA is back. The buy-in's there. It's not where you're at, it's where you're going.
Only on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Ashley Air is proud to be an official sponsor of Razorback Athletics. Our service to the River Valley began in 1958, the same year that the legendary Frank Broyles took over as football coach. The Hogs have had some great coaches, but we've never had so many on campus all at once. Sam Pittman, Eric Musselman, Dave Van Horn, and Mike Neighbors, just to name a few. What an incredible team. We put together quite a team at Ashley Air, too. On game day, call the Hogs. When your AC breaks, call Ashley Air.
Hi, my name is Craig Sills. I'm the senior pastor here at Park Hill Baptist Church here in Arkadelphia, and I want to encourage you to get your COVID vaccination. As a pastor and as a dad and as a friend, I want to think about who the people are around me, and I want to try to do the best I can to make sure that they're safe. That's why I think it's so important. It's to protect individuals, but more importantly, I think it helps protect community. And especially now with the new variants that are coming through, I think it's so important that we need to get vaccinated to be able to hold on to that sense of community together.
Learn more at healthy.arkansas.gov. This message brought to you by the Arkansas Department of Health.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels and see why they were voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Farm Credit has been a trusted friend for over 100 years. They are ag financing experts. So whether you're a longtime farmer, new to farming, or buying your dream home or land in the country, their experienced staff has a plan to fit your goals, needs, and your bottom line. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com. Farm Credit is an equal opportunity lender.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
When you want beer, you go to a bar. When you want top-shelf spirits, wines, handcrafted cocktails, and cigars, in an atmosphere benefiting a destination, you go to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Try our new menu items including fish and chips, classic club sandwiches, Caesar and Cobb salads, or stick to your favorites, dine in or carry out. Enjoy our state-of-the-art air filtration system. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith. Doors open at 4 Tuesday through Saturday.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Don't miss the Morning Rush live from the Stadium Shop on Razorback Road this Friday from 6 to 9 a.m.
I know when to go out, know when to stay in, get things done.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
So the ALCS starts tomorrow night in Houston. The NLDS wraps up tonight. Dodgers-Giants, 8:07 first pitch. Logan Webb for the Giants, a guy that came out of nowhere to turn into an ace this season and shoved in his first postseason start. Julio Urias, 20-game winner for the Dodgers. And Dave Roberts said yesterday that they're not using Max Scherzer at all. Not out of the bullpen or anything. Didn't want to use him on short rest. I think they want to be ready to go for a starter if they move into the championship series. The Dodgers have the kind of bullpen that you can do that, though. This is a really, really good bullpen. And it's been a fun series, and you got to love a fifth or a seventh and deciding game. See, this is the stuff that I like when a series does make it to a deciding game instead of manufacturing or artificially manufacturing the excitement by creating a winner-takes-all postseason round, which the Dodgers got through against the Cardinals, and I still feel like you get an exciting thing if you have a one game playoff. Never will call one game a series,
and I still won't call it a playoff.
Games 2 and 3 still are you get to a third game, it's going to be more exciting than the one game.
100%.
So you guys, it's been a great division series already. Have had a lot of great postseason baseball games, and looks like. I mean, quite honestly, these do seem like the two best teams in baseball right now. So it is a little bit of a
It's kind of bittersweet that we get it this early.
Now. That's right. But I do think a Braves series against either one of them should be fun because, Atlanta's playing really great baseball right now.
Demolished the Brewers. I thought that series would go to 5 because the Brewers have been playing decent baseball, not just at the end, but throughout the season. Brewers were able to pull out one, but I didn't see a 3-1 series.
And Atlanta, man, I mean, I know we've talked about it. It's amazing that they've been able to do this with all the injuries and players that have missed time for various reasons, whether injury or, domestic assault allegations that were leveled against Marcelo Zuna. The team that they started with is by no means anywhere close to the team that they finished with. But, they still do have an amazing infield with 4 players that have hit 20 or more home runs, and Freddie Freeman leading the way. I mean, this has become one of the faces of baseball, one of the most likable players in the sport, and a guy that comes up with big hit after big hit at the big moments. And, he's taken the mantle as Mr. Brave from Chipper Jones, and he's just kind of run with it, and he's on that same kind of path.
Well, definitely. I mean, he's a very likable guy like you talked about. I mean, kind of not going to say he's old, but, I mean, older than a lot of guys on that Braves roster, kind of that veteran leadership of the team, and just what he and they've all just been able to do. It has been incredible. You talk about 4 infielders all with 20 or more home runs. That is absolutely incredible. And that's when you know that you're dangerous from the first batter to the ninth. And that's exactly what you want going into postseason play and now into the champion series of the National League.
Yeah, my thoughts are that I think the Dodgers are a little better off for this game today. I know Webb's pitched really well. I've got a lot of faith in Urias. Postseason starts as well that he's done previously, and there is something about this Dodgers team, and maybe it's because when we got into this the other day, it's like you don't really know who the Giants are.
Yeah, you don't know who any of these people are.
An anonymous team,
and if you do, you didn't realize that they were still with the Giants or that they were ever actually on the Giants. I mean, how long has it been since Buster Posey's been a top 5 player in baseball? As far as maybe not even just productivity, but as a top 5 face of baseball. It's been a while. It's been since before his injury.
You kind of forgot a little bit about Posey because he didn't play last year.
And then he had the big injury a few years ago.
He wasn't the same player after the injury, and of course a rule was changed because of that injury.
The Posey rule where you can't no more
contact at home plate.
Which is, I don't like.
He came back this year, and he had a great season. He really did. As a catcher, too. Not as a guy that had to learn a new position. I know they DH'd him when they got a chance to, and he didn't start, every game. Got into 113 out of 162, but 304 average, almost had a 900 OPS, hit with some pop, 18 home runs. And look, he's the catcher of a pitching staff that's anonymous, and they ended up with the best record in baseball. I mean, Buster Posey he's already won 3 world championships. He's already won a Rookie of the Year and an MVP.
Hall of Famer?
I'm not ready to say that yet. Not yet. But I don't think he's at the end of his career. He's looked pretty darn good. Maybe sitting out last year was a big thing for him. Remember what he said before the season started? I don't think you were on the show with us then, Drew. A reporter asked him about how he kept his arm in shape. And he and his wife had adopted baby twins during the early portion of the pandemic. He said he kept his arm in shape by throwing diapers, used diapers, which, as any parent knows, if you tape that thing properly, you can get some serious length on your diaper throws.
Yeah.
And it can actually, I guess depending on how much the kid ate,
kind of
feel like the weight of a baseball. Yeah, just good luck getting seams on that thing. All right, we're going to have to step aside.
Might be $1 million idea, though. Diapers or seams.
Andy Burcham, the voice of Auburn Athletics, joins us next. We'll dig into the Razorbacks and the Auburn Tigers next.
Yeah, you told me one day I would understand, but now I'm much older. Suddenly you see just what you were talking about. Still from way over here, look crystal clear. You were the one for me, but life it ain't so simple. No, life it ain't so kind.
Halftime is brought to you by Crabtree RV Center. 4 generations making your family dreams come true.
When it comes to baling, the denser, the better. Williams Tractor in Fayetteville, Berryville, and Bobcat in Northwest Arkansas can show you how roll belt round balers produce denser and higher quality round bales that drive down your production costs while driving up the nutrition of your bales. A competitive comparison showed New Holland roll belt round balers provide savings in net wrap, transportation, and lower storage losses. It's like being able to afford a new baler every other year. Stop by Williams Tractor in Fayetteville, Berryville, and Bobcat in Northwest Arkansas soon to learn firsthand about the benefits of roll belt round balers.
The Game Day Lodge in Branson is the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. You'll find 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, poker table, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms. Back and better than ever, all eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With the new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the #1 source for everything football. Head to your website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of these amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Do you know the difference between admission and confession? Admission is acknowledging the truth of something. Confession is a formal statement agreeing that you're guilty. Greg Allman admitted he's no angel, but that doesn't mean he confessed his guilt before God. Romans 10:10 says, one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Confess to God that Jesus died in your guilty place, and then you'll receive His amazing grace. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Pray about it.
The Game Day Lodge in Branson is the perfect place for
financing for 72 months. So come on down here. Let's get you locked in for 0%. Let's take a look at the trucks we got coming in and see if one of those trucks fits your needs.
0% financing for 72 months while it lasts at Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw.
At Frank Rowe Furniture for the month of October, no sales tax and free delivery. You heard it right, no sales tax and free delivery. Frank Rowe Furniture offers made-in-the-USA products and service after the sale. Remember, no sales tax and free delivery in October at Frank Rowe Furniture. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house. Appliance excluded in sale and delivery must be within a 50-mile range.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Don't miss the Morning Rush live from the Stadium Shop on Razorback Road this Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. Find us on 99.5 and 1290 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Always love catching up with Andy Burcham, radio voice, Auburn Athletics, handles baseball, handles men's basketball, handles football, and knows that athletic department in and out and every which way, including up. Andy, looking forward to seeing you at Razorback Stadium on Saturday, and we appreciate you coming on halftime today. How are you?
we will pack our layers for this game Saturday morning. We haven't had temperatures in the 40s here. So looking forward to some football-like weather, that's for sure.
It's about time, man. It really is about time because we've been dealing with the heat for the first 6 weeks of the season. So you go back and look, and Auburn's dominated this series in the last few years. And last year, the 2-point win flies in the face of the way that the outcomes have been between these programs for a long time now. I mean, I see Auburn before last year had beaten Arkansas 4 in a row by an average margin of 39 points, and 10 of the last 12 meetings have been decided by 17 or more points. But, Andy, when I look at the way these teams are constructed now, I see a close game, and I see potentially close games in the future with these programs too. I think the days of blowouts with Arkansas and Auburn are over, at least for the next few years.
I would agree with you. I think the emergence of Arkansas under Sam Pittman and the way that this team is constructed, as you mentioned, the fact that Auburn has gone to a more pro-style offense would lend to that. And I just think that these teams are more even now than they have been for the last couple of years. I mean, you have to go back, was it 15 the last time that Arkansas beat Auburn, and that was a 4-overtime game at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. And since then, up until last year, it had been a blowout for Auburn. But I really do think these last few years are the exception rather than the rule when it comes to this series. And I believe Saturday will be, I think for an 11 o'clock game, it's about as good as you're going to find out there. And I think ESPN and SEC Network, I don't think you're seeing these 11 o'clock games being the throwaway games anymore. I think we're going to see these kind of matchups at 11 o'clock moving forward. So I don't think that's indicative of how evenly matched this game is and how big this is for both of these teams coming in.
I don't know what the ratings were last week, but I remember reading that the Arkansas-Georgia game, which was 11 o'clock in the morning, was ESPN's highest-rated football game of the season so far, and that was 11 o'clock. So I think you're exactly right about that. Andy, these two teams, there are a lot of similarities about these teams. I mean, you've got mobile quarterbacks. They're different size and everything, and they have different arm strength, but mobile quarterbacks, good running backs, not just dominated by one or two running backs either, good offensive lines. Where to you, Andy, do these teams differ?
It's a good question. I think at this point, the Arkansas wide receivers are more explosive than Auburn. The number of big plays that you've seen out of Arkansas through the first 5-6 weeks of the season, I think is eye-popping, and Auburn has been unable to do that. Last week against Georgia, Auburn had its chances, but had a lot of drop balls, anywhere between 8 and 10 dropped balls, including one for a touchdown on the first drive of the game. So I think there's a big difference. The fact that the Arkansas receivers are more established and have performed better than Auburn right now. And another thing coming into this game, and this is something we won't know until Saturday morning pretty early, is the availability of Owen Pappo on the Auburn defense. He was injured in the second half of the Penn State game. He's Auburn's second leading tackler, forms a really good duo with Jacoby McClain, and I think Arkansas knows the value of having dominant linebackers, because Arkansas certainly does, in Henry and Morgan and Poole and Parker. And Auburn probably is not as deep at the linebacker spot, but they rely on those two inside linebackers as much as Arkansas does. And Pappo hasn't played since that Penn State game. Auburn needs Owen Pappo back out there at that linebacker spot for Auburn. But I think the big difference is how well the Arkansas wide receivers have played, and Auburn's still looking for the emergence of its wide receivers right now.
Yeah, you talk about the wide receivers of Auburn. You brought up the pass drops. Has it basically been on the receivers of why Bo Nix's numbers are that bad? I mean, is it Bo's accuracy, or is it more on the wide receivers, the fact that Bo Nix still halfway through the season is just under 1,200 yards and has only thrown 6 touchdowns through the air? Which is more of the factor? Is it Bo himself or the people that need to actually catch the ball?
It may be depending on the game. Last week, it was the folks catching the ball. That was the problem for Auburn a week ago. And listen, Auburn lost every one of its big play receivers coming into this season from last year. Anthony Schwartz is playing with the Browns. Both Eli Stove and Seth Williams were on NFL rosters in the preseason. They lost all three of those guys from a year ago. One thing that it has done, though, on the other hand, is Auburn is starting to throw much more to the tight end than it has, well, probably in 20 years. Maybe since Philip Lessenkirchen played for Auburn. That was 11 years ago. But the tight end for Auburn is much more of a factor this year. And there's some depth there and some experience at the tight end spot. So while Auburn's still trying to establish itself at the receiver core, and I mean, 2 weeks ago, Auburn fired its wide receivers coach in his first year at Auburn. So that has been a troublesome spot for Auburn. It's a spot that Auburn needs to improve on because, including this Saturday, Auburn will have the off week next week, but the rest of the year is all the Southeastern Conference. So there are no more weeks where you can say, let's try and figure it out, with an opponent in. That doesn't work anymore for Auburn. Akron and Georgia State and Alabama State, they're done on the Auburn schedule at this point.
And you talk about how the tight end is being utilized a lot more than in years past. What are some of the other big examples that you can think of that is kind of the biggest difference between Brian Harsin and Gus Malzahn?
Well, I think, for one thing, we see Auburn run out of a pro eye set. We never saw that under Gus Malzahn. You see Bo Nix under center with John Samuel Schenker as the fullback and Tank Bigsby or Jarquez Hunter in the pro eye. We haven't seen that at Auburn since Tommy Tuberville, who's now a U.S. Senator, was roaming the sidelines for the Tigers. So that's maybe the biggest difference. You don't see Auburn running laterally as much as it has in the past. Auburn is much more of a downhill running football team. Gus Malzahn always wanted to get to that point, but seemed with that offense, and certainly the offense in the last couple of years was trying to get to the corner, trying to turn the corner. Auburn will try to pound it much more under this offense and under Brian Harsin offense and the Mike Bobo offense. You saw this a little bit if you watched South Carolina last year. So I think that is maybe one of the big differences is the fact that Auburn uses much more of a pro eye set than we've seen in quite some time.
I felt like some of the pressure.
Not all the time, and Auburn will still run a majority of its plays out of the shotgun, but it will run much more out of that pro eye set.
Andy, I felt like some of the pressure on Gus partially was on based upon the success of that first year, and it can be difficult to live up to that, afterwards. But also, this was someone referred to as an offensive genius who was calling the plays quite often. He was kind of the offensive coordinator for some of those years that he was also the head coach. Even when there was an OC, sometimes Gus called the plays. I don't see that with Brian Harsin. I see him allowing Mike Bobo to run an offense and call plays, even though Brian Harsin is an offensively minded coach. That's his background.
And I think that he still has a great deal of input in the game plan and certainly what happens on game day. But from what we've seen so far, yes, I think that's the case. Auburn, he does turn over the offense to Mike Bobo. And we all know that Gus was a former offensive coordinator himself until he became the head coach at Auburn. And I think had trouble relinquishing that duty. And at times he did, and then he seemed to take it over again. So, yeah, that is also a big change in how things are run, at least for now. That's how things are run right now. Mike Bobo is calling that offense, but I think the head coach will always have a say-so in what's going on in the field.
You guys have a pretty battle-tested team on the road already. White out at Penn State, and I know it's a loss, but that was a great game, and it was tight. And I know LSU isn't, very good this year, but a win in Baton Rouge for the first time since 1999 has to mean something. And, when I look at the attendance at Jordan-Hare Stadium this year, even though it's a sellout in Fayetteville, it could be the lowest attended game that Auburn's played in this season. So, You know, they're gonna give a great crowd. It's going to be a raucous stadium on Saturday, but I think Auburn's already kind of answered the bell in that situation a couple of times.
I don't think Auburn will be intimidated by the crowd, and that doesn't diminish how much the crowd will play a factor in the game. I think Arkansas will be more than ready on the field and in the stands for this game. I expect it to be, even though it's an 11 o'clock game, I expect it to be, you know, it's going to be a fun atmosphere to broadcast from on Saturday. But yeah, I mean, so much was made of the Penn State game and the whiteout game, and the way I answered it is, listen, this is what Auburn faces. This is what any SEC team faces when it goes on the road in the league. It's what it's like when you come to Fayetteville. It's what it's like when you go to College Station or Baton Rouge or Tuscaloosa or Athens, or when teams come to Auburn. That's what you see. I'm not trying to diminish how good the atmosphere was at Penn State, because it's terrific. It's 109,000. For an on-campus stadium, it's the largest that Auburn has played in front of so far. So it was a terrific atmosphere. It's a great atmosphere at night, especially at night in Baton Rouge. But Auburn has played relatively well in those first two road games. So we'll have to see how the Tigers play this Saturday against a really good Arkansas team that has a great deal of respect from this Auburn team. And Brian Harsin, we talked to him on Tiger Talk last night. Nothing but respect for what Sam Pittman and Barry Odom have done there in Fayetteville. Listen, when you beat A&M and Texas in the same season, and soon those will both be SEC games, that gets the attention of everybody.
Andy, you've been doing Auburn athletics for a long time now, so I feel like you're a good guy to answer this question. I saw your video coming back from Baton Rouge when you got back into town, and, of course, they had toilet papered all the trees at Toomer's Corner. I hope they kind of have to keep their toilet paper sheathed this next weekend, but for such a small town, Andy, where the heck do they keep all the toilet paper?
Yeah, and you're coming out of a COVID era, too, where, you know, remember how
scarce it was.
Non-plentiful. Yeah, you couldn't find it anywhere. Well, apparently they've stocked up. And yeah, that's just what it is here at Auburn. And everybody has those kind of traditions. So I guess, I mean, listen, I've never been able to do it. I've never been able to get to Toomer's Corner and roll Toomer's Corner after a football game because I'm working. But, and listen, that game was a big game for Auburn because of what you mentioned. Auburn hadn't won in Baton Rouge since 19. Auburn hadn't won in this century in Baton Rouge. That's why, and coming from behind, I think that's why that was, I wanted to drive through town on my way home, and the Auburn family did not disappoint. Let's put it that way.
Drew was 5 years old the last time that had happened, so that's probably the best way to put it. Yeah, he didn't even know what that looked like. Andy, appreciate you, man. It's always fun talking with you, and have a safe trip to Fayetteville, and we'll see you Saturday.
Hope to see you all Saturday. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Andy.
It's Andy Burcham, voice of Auburn Tigers Athletics. I had a question like on the end of my tongue there that I decided not to ask, because you got to make sure you ask it in the proper way, and I don't know if I was ready to do that. I was going to ask Andy, how many rolls of toilet paper does he have in his closet at this very moment? Because I feel like if you were an Auburn fan or somebody that works for Auburn,
I feel like you got to at least have 10 to 15 rolls on you at any given time.
Savings account of toilet paper for those big moments.
And then an extra like 6 or 7 in the trunk. That's just in case. That way you can roll any tree, regardless of where you are.
I was going to offer up one of my own rolls just for him to take home with him if he didn't have enough. But they're not going to be rolling Toomer's Corner this Saturday.
No, hopefully not.
We're rolling the end of the show after this on halftime.
Archery season is underway, and black powder season is just a few days away. Jelco Outdoors has a great selection of muzzleloaders and hunting accessories for this year's primetime hunt. It's time to get all your gear for deer season, and Jelco Outdoors is ready to help you get ready for a great time in the deer woods. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors. And remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
One time at B-Dubs, this crew came in hungry for flavor in football. Lucky for them, we've got both for days, especially on Boneless Thursdays. With buy one, get one free hot and crispy boneless wings and football on wall-to-wall TVs, that crew couldn't leave hungry if they tried. Get here for Boneless Thursdays at Buffalo Wild Wings, to the greatest of all times.
BOGO boneless wings of equal value at participating locations on Thursdays. Not valid with other offers. Size exclusions apply while supplies last. Limit 1. Fees may apply.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you're a fence builder or have building experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay, health, dental, and vision benefits, plus a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Hi folks, Scary Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources. Great used cars are so hard to find it's terrifying. Most dealers' lots look like a ghost town. Not ours. We're loaded up with premium pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs you've been looking for, and they're all Rath Road ready. Hand-picked and reconditioned in our own Meineke Car Care Center. Plus, our live market value pricing takes all the terror out of getting a great deal, with savings as much as $4,000 below retail. Are you haunted by past credit problems? Our For the People credit approval process is ghoulishly good at getting you approved. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes, buy 3, get 1 free on all tires, and a free winter-ready inspection. Better yet, let your old ride rust in peace. Trade it in and start driving better today. It's all treats and no tricks till the stroke of midnight on Halloween at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
For 33 years, Manfield's Automotive Parts City Auto Parts has been trusted as your one-stop for all your vehicle needs. Get a great deal on a Superstart battery and any of the products you need for the do-it-yourself upkeep on your car or truck. When you need work done, Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts does everything from oil changes, brakes, alignments, diagnostic work, air conditioning, and more. Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts in downtown Mansfield is open 8 to 5:30 Monday through Friday and 8 to 1 on Saturdays.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Don't miss the Morning Rush live from the Stadium Shop on Razorback Road this Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
There's one of your great themes from the 80s. Hey, grab Susu Studio and take her to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge this weekend. They're open tonight until midnight. Susu Studio will keep you there until 1 a.m. tomorrow and on Saturday. If she likes cigars, if she likes upscale drinks, if she likes not smelling like a cigar, if she enjoys a classy atmosphere, you got to take Susudio to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge in downtown Fort Smith, 906 Garrison Avenue. You can go to 906lounge.com or their Facebook page to find their specials and other events. And let's see, this weekend, Hector Anchonato is the Double Blue Spectacular. Friday and Saturday night. Should be a lot of fun. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, downtown Fort Smith. All right, you got your baseball, you got your football tonight, you got your college football tonight. It's a nice full day of sports after a dearth of sports yesterday. So this will be a nice Thursday, and then tomorrow is the day of intensity leading into kickoff on Saturday, Arkansas versus the Auburn Tigers. See what we got tomorrow. We're going to talk with Aaron Torres and nobody else.
Mm-hmm. So we'll talk to all of our great listeners if they have questions. Because we really haven't had time to take calls, since Monday, because we've been pretty booked up.
That's true. Oh, yeah, also big day, Arkansas men's basketball. I forget the time that Jordan Walsh is announcing his commitment, but it's happening
tonight at 5.
Is that afternoon or is that evening? Once we've moved into non-daylight savings time, then it feels more like nighttime. The sun feels down then.
It's not going to be dark by 5 tonight.
You looking out the window. You're looking out the window.
I know, and it's like 1 o'clock. I'm like,
it's dark now.
Well, I was going to judge the distance of the sun to the horizon, and tell that way. But
whatever it's going to be at 5 o'clock then.
And we got the red-white game this week, so this weekend I'm going to go to that.
Yeah. Oh, which will be fun. Baseball scrimmages today.
Yes.
Right? They finish out the fall series at 3 o'clock today with a 9-inning game. Won't be playing tomorrow, so they had to cancel yesterday's game because of all of the rain and how go out there, sit around, and just be a geek for like 4 hours and keep score of a game that doesn't count.
Is there any other way to watch a baseball game in person?
So. I don't.
You have to keep score. I keep score of every game. Not every game I watch, obviously. I don't sit there at home with my scorebook. But when I'm in a baseball park stadium, I always keep score.
Well, I like to when I'm watching a game. There's no doubt about that. All right, so Arkansas right now, according to 24/7 Sports, ranked 4th in the basketball recruiting rankings behind Duke, Ohio State, and Michigan, 1 through 3. So if you get Jordan Walsh, and that makes it 5 commits, does that could that possibly bump
It's another
Arkansas?
5-star. It could.
Yeah, could that get Arkansas to 2nd or even number 1?
How many 5-stars has Duke signed already?
According to
committed,
the 24/7
haven't signed
Sports
anybody.
rankings, Drew, they've got 3 5-stars. Arkansas, if they get Walsh, would have 2, but also 3 4-stars.
How many 4-stars does Duke have? I know I could
1.
just look this up.
They have 1.
Okay, it's all about averages there.
And
I think
truth
Arkansas
is,
might
doesn't
take
really matter if you're 1, 2, 3, or 4. Like this is
it's silly little things fans like to argue and.
It's a reloading of a program that's already got extremely high expectations for this year, and there's Nick Smith, probably a one and done from everything we've heard about. Maybe Jordan Walsh is the same kind of thing. So
I believe he is.
These are guys that are reloading a year after you're already expected to have.
And that's what you have to do in college
season.
basketball when you live in the one and done era.
Absolutely.
That you have to reload every year. Recruiting, you can't have a down year. You can't take a year off because you've already got so many guys talented on the roster, because if they are that talented, they're not going to be on the team the next year. So you have to constantly keep your nose to the grindstone and constantly having these top 5, top 10 recruiting classes if you want to be a constant contender.
Yeah. Well, we'll be looking for that later on today, afternoon or evening, whatever it is you want to call it. It's at 5 o'clock.
Afternoon.
And I'm sure Ruskin and Zach will have a reaction to Jordan Walsh's announcement later on this afternoon or evening. Again, whichever way you want to put it.
It's afternoon.
You've made it to the evening. You've made it to the end of halftime.
You've made it to the afternoon.
Well, this is still the afternoon right now. It's the evening of halftime, though, because we're about to hang up for the rest of the day. And it should be a lot of fun tomorrow as we count you down to kickoff for Arkansas and Auburn. We are within the 48-hour time limit. So for Maddie and for Drew, this is Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.